for Monday. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. All set?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anyway, it's Monday, November 13th. And we'll start with Ms. Kukla reading the preamble.
Thank you. My name is Liz Cooper. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, November 13th. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conduct such meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote, abstention from any vote due to a conflict of interest to be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. Raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who are providing written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Will you call the roll?
Sure. Ms. Holzer is absent this morning. Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Ms. Bates?
I'm here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 4 members. We should probably state to everyone in attendance today, to all the appellants, that with 4 members being present, we run the risk of a tie vote. If there is a tie vote, your variance is denied and the decision of building and housing remains. So at this time, you can request a postponement until we have 5 members. Are there any appellants here that would like a postponement at this time?
Anyone online?
No raised hand?
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Back to you.
excellent. Maurice, did we have any city council people?
Well, I
arrive
believe
before
we
announcement?
have one
Yes.
sitting right in the front row.
Exactly. I saw her come in, but I wanted to make sure, was there anyone that arrived prior to this?
Well, we have Joseph Nasser, who is the Ward 15 executive assistant to the councilwoman. So I don't know if you view that the same. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think you view that quite the same, but
Okay.
I just want to let you know.
All right. Miss Gray trumps because she's here in person.
Of
so-
course.
So as a courtesy to our council people, we move their cases to the top of the agenda when they are present. Ms. Roca is going to read the case into the record for us.
All right. They're not here?
Are they online?
One second, let me see if I can find the case first. I don't remember their names. Does anybody else?
Dorita Latham is the one on the lead.
That's the same one with the household.
Right.
People,
And Harlan Ebert. I don't see.
Do we have appellants present for calendar number 23-149?
Oh.
Yeah, we do not.
No, it is a little early. They might be running behind, so we can
Okay.
go to the next.
They do know that they were last on the agenda, so maybe they're.
Yeah, they may have planned accordingly. All right, so we'll go to the Ward 15 then.
Okay, that's the first one, I believe.
Yeah.
been in my office.
Okay, all right.
Do you want us, Councilwoman, did you want somebody to reach out to you if they come in, or?
I'm gonna bring it up on my, you can, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Cause I have another appointment at 10 o'clock, so call me.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
thank you.
Thank you. All right,
So we're moving to which one? Top of the agenda?
yeah. So we'll move to, they have 2. Who's here representing Councilman Spencer?
I was stuck downstairs.
Oh, okay, caught each other.
Thank you.
All right, we're back on then.
Yeah, I had to go through security. Pictures first.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
All right, so we're back to calendar 23-149. Our appellants arrived. So
Great.
we'll move with that.
We will now move forward with calendar number 23-149. Emergent Evolutions LLC proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Madam Chair, back to you.
Thank you. Would you like to do the oath?
Sure. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Councilwoman Gray, would you like to come up to the as well? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You do, please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name and address, please.
I do, Councilwoman Deborah Gray, 601 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland.
I do. Dorita Latham, 4456 North Abbey Road, Sheffield, Ohio, 44054.
Thank you both.
You're welcome.
And is there anyone online? Okay, Madam Chair.
Great. Ms. Kukla, we've had history of the property since we've heard this a few times.
Mhm.
Is there anything we need to bring the group up to speed on?
No, the first postponement was made to allow for a community meeting to be held. I think the second postponement was made to allow time for further review by the council person.
Okay. Thank you. Would you like to refresh us on the legal standard?
Sure. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
Um,
I turn it over.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
I've also emailed some of those documents. as
Oh. okay, so Ms. Kukla's received some of this package.
She brought that in, I think she said she emailed it as well.
Yeah, Mr. Rowlands?
I never got anything.
Then I did scan some things and send them to you.
Yeah.
To the board members.
Okay,
So, let me make sure that these are the things that she sent them. You will have them.
It's probably, I think only the first 2 pages is the ones I didn't see.
Yeah, I think the first 3 are new.
Yes.
These, okay, these certifications are new. And then the rest of the items the board members received via email.
great.
I could email those really quick to Mr. Williams. I apologize. He didn't receive those, if you'd like. I have them on the screen.
I think we're good because we have them in hand.
Yeah.
All with Miss Wilson. Yeah. Miss Wilson, would you like these scanned so you have them on screen for you?
That would be helpful, thank you.
All right.
Madam
Some
Chair,
of the things, some of the,
might be better to just email them directly to Ms. Wilson if she can access her email.
Okay.
I can.
I'll be glad to scan them and send.
okay.
Okay. I was gonna take a copy.
Okay. Be just a minute while we take care of that. Well, she may have taken it back to work. I don't know. Do you want to swear him in while we're waiting?
Sure.
We're going to go ahead and swear you in
Okay.
and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If you do so, raise your right hand, state your name, address, and say I do.
TJ Madden, 1034 to 10437 Tolland Drive, Minderville, Ohio. I do.
Can you just say your name again and a little louder for the court reporter?
TJ Madden, 10437 Tolland Drive, Minderville, Ohio. I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just as a reminder, everyone, we do have a court reporter. She's not present in the room with us. But we want to make sure that when you swear in and you you state your name, that you say it loudly enough for her to capture it. And if it's an unusual spelling, please spell it for her.
No problem.
All right, thank you for your patience. Okay, good? All right. Ms. Wilson, you should have the documents now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're just waiting for Ms. Brown to return.
Okay. Watching time for you, council.
Well, we have enough members, I apologize. We do have a quorum.
We do have a quorum, but I think Ms. Brown would
Yeah.
want to hear testimony. But this is our third time, so. Thank you. You're welcome. Just reviewing some photos, Ms. Wilson has documents. So, all right. You ready, Miss?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and bring us up to date on where you stand now.
So we've done more renovations. We went to the community meeting that the councilwoman suggested. We spoke with residents and received positive feedback. They had questions, but ultimately, one of them stood out in saying that it would be beneficial for her brother to have something like that in the community, as he is a veteran. We also spoke with the CDC for the area, and they support us. And we also met with the pastor because that was something that the councilwoman suggested that we do. And he's also on board with supporting and collaborating.
Okay, great. Do you have anything to add to that?
And I emailed as well as included a lot of partnerships that we now have as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's a great
Okay.
partnership. And this is, I've also been working with the VA, and this is the contact person for the VA that I'm working with as far as.
Okay, we'll give
Getting-
that to Ms. Kukla.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman?
Well, they did come to my second, community meeting, and what's your name? As CJ stated that he did bring it up to the community, to the residents in the meeting. However, when he brought it up, one of the residents, the same resident you spoke of, was a little bit confused about the house. When he said that her brother, was a veteran, and he would like to attend there until she found out it would be a group home per se. She didn't know that prior to the announcement you guys had said, because she brought it to my attention. Okay, so however, also on the strength of the group home, there's another group home in the area less than 1,000 feet.
Uh-huh.
That's why I am has a little pushback.
Right.
Because due to the fact over the time that we have been talking, we found out that another group home was within 1,000 feet. Plus it was going to be another group home within that same area. So we have 3 group homes within less than 1,000 feet on from one corner to the next corner. That's the only reason why I have been pushing back on this, because of the area where where it is, and then the residents wasn't aware of all the group homes will be in the same section of that facility per se. So due to that, I've been working with Kim Scott, who's helping me to understand, would this be feasible to have 3 group homes in the same block? So as a council person, this is my first go around to understand that. So we have the Pastor Neville's has the group home.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where it all started. He has both building as we have one building that he initially opened back up as a group home. We invited him to this meeting. And evidently he's not here.
Right.
But one of his other buildings was going to be a group home too, that I actually used the revenue recovery funds to fund, and that's Wings Academy 1. So that was my initial priority over any other group home that was in that area. However, that particular company, that Aspire Allied Health, they pulled out. From being in that area because they decided to go somewhere else in Ward 4. But Pastor Neville has another group home that's right on Lamateur, and it's right next to Wings Academy 1, which is both of his buildings. So he reopened his group home because he didn't have to rezone it. He is now in full function of opening his group home as a veteran home too. Okay, he was once working with me as a women's clinic, but since he talked with Miss Layton, when they introduced themselves, he turned around and opened up that group home as a veterans instead of a women's clinic. So this is where I am, deciding on what is feasible for that area to have the same similar group homes in that facility.
Right.
So as a council, I'm trying to understand, working with Kim Scott, the planner, for us to understand, would this be feasible, and or it'll be on the last account of the planning board to decide if 2 group homes less than 1,000 feet will be feasible in that area, one right across the street from each other. So this is why I am right now, trying to make that hard decision for that community.
Right. Okay. Maurice, that's the map, right? So we have,
That's the one that's on Forest Avenue. I don't know if that's the one that the councilwoman is talking about, but this is theirs.
This is theirs. Theirs is on Forest Avenue, Martin Luther King. Pastor Neville's is on Lamateur, going down Lamateur to West. You have his Cathedral Church on the corner, then you have Wings Academy 1 next to it, then you have a house that's next to Wings Academy 1, and that is the group home he reopened as the veterans group home.
okay.
So just get up, just to make it easier.
Councilwoman, so I just have a question.
This is the one that we have listed in the system.
Yes.
That's not the one she's talking.
Right, that's what, I just wanted to be clear. There's another one right here on
And-
Forest Avenue, the one you're proposing
It's
is
right
right
there.
here in Forest at MLK. I don't know anything about this, but this did come up in the system
Yes.
as still being active. I don't know that it
Uh-huh.
actually is or not, but I just wanted to be clear on.
And then where's the one on the map that?
That, I didn't know about that one because it's not in the system.
It's not, because
See, and we asked him, and I asked him, he said that that building has always been a group home. And initially, he and I have talked about this a year ago to open up that particular place as a women's clinic. And that was a year ago, and that's what we were working on. But since when Miss Layton, they went out to introduce themselves to everybody in the community, and Miss Layton met Pastor Neville's. And when she brought that up to his attention, what they were doing, then Mr. Neville turned around, Pastor Neville turned around and decided to turn his group over to a veterans clinic. And instead of the women clinic, as we have been working on for a year. So as we know right now, he has opened up his, as far as I know, I haven't been talking to you guys.
Mhm.
He's been talking to us.
Yeah.
In my,
spoken with him.
through my office. So he had done renovations. He said he had done renovations
And
to the.
do you know the address of that location?
That is, I think 10631?
Is it the Holy Ghost Missionary Baptist Church? Is
That
that?
cathedral, his church is cathedral on the Martin Luther King and Namateur.
Okay.
We have Wings Academy. I think Wings Academy is 10631. That might be 10624.
What's the street?
Lamateur Avenue.
Lumber?
Spell that.
LAMONTIER.
LAMON.
TIER.
Okay.
Yes.
What's that?
I would have never guessed that.
So at
I was
this time,
close.
yeah, so at this time, that is my concern only.
Okay.
Because the priority was Aspire Allied Health. That was my priority to only allow that one be open, but since Reverend Pastor Neville said that he already had that zone as a group home, and that's now open up, this is the pushback.
Well, this is the first one.
A quick clarification. We also spoke with Pastor Neville's, and he, like the councilwoman has said, has been working on the renovations for a year. No permits, licensing, or specific dedication that would need to be taken out to say that that is going to be a group home has been made.
But Mr. Pastor never said that have always been a group home and he
It's
didn't
not
have to
open.
rezone it.
Yeah.
So right now, I have a 10 o'clock meeting, so
Right.
I'm gonna just say this, I really hate doing this, but I'm gonna postpone this. Because I'm working with Kim Scott in planning, and I cannot make a decision right now until we get with Pastor Neville's on that house, since they said that he claimed that, that he doesn't have any official documents. I am put in a position of 2 group homes, less than 50 feet,
Right.
and the constituents in that area is not aware of the sacrament.
And we have nothing, Maurice, we have nothing that shows these other two, correct?
Yeah, they're not in the zoning adjudication. So I don't think they are because they checked the GIS, which is where this screenshot is from.
So did you have any input from Ms. Scott?
No, I have not had any, I have not had a conversation with her about, I didn't know
Alright.
she was
Spoke
working
to
on
her last
this.
week as well.
Good
We had a
morning.
meet-
Good morning.
I haven't gone-
Hello, okay.
Scott's on the.
Oh,
Hi, this
excellent.
is,
Oh,
this is Kim
we
Scott.
need to
I'm
swear her
here.
in. Kim, you weren't sworn in, were you?
No,
All right, we'll swear you in real quick.
We don't want to make you late. If you
Yeah, I'm
Go
going
ahead.
to, I'm
You go
gonna
ahead.
postpone it.
We'll
I
get-
cannot
we'll-
make a final decision for
Yeah.
anyone right
No.
now. Thank you.
We've heard you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Ms. Scott, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address, please.
Yes, Kim Scott, City Planning, 601 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114. So I did meet with the appellant as well as the councilwoman on this matter. And the appellant's plans are very straightforward, very well thought out. I have clarification about the staffing, about the parking arrangements. And I think that in this particular area, there is a definite need for this particular service. City Planning will support the appellant's request, and they're only asking for serving 5 residents in this particular facility, and so that is where we are.
Did you have conversation with the councilman or
Yes.
councilwoman, Kim?
We met, I met with the councilwoman as well as the appellant together. So,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Okay. Board questions, comments?
Well, I have one question. I know the councilwoman has asked for a postponement, but according to our own rules, there are only a certain number of postponements allowed. I don't know where we are with that.
These are in our rules and regulations, Madam Chair.
Correct.
That the board generally only allows for 3 postponements, and those postponements would be from the appellant, the city, and city council. So I believe that the council person has requested the last 2,
Correct.
and so that's where we are. It is up to the,
So technically, per our rules and regulations, we could postpone under our,
yeah, it's not a codified requirement or regulation. It is in your rules and regulations.
And 2 have been by the councilwoman. The first one was not. So we're there.
Right.
Well, we've only,
She did all of them.
She did too.
She did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was right.
Oh.
Okay, Ms. Brown, any comment?
I do have several comments. I am not sure that I'm putting them in the right order to make an argument, but one of the comments is that there's a letter in this packet from Pastor Neville's supporting the project. And perhaps there are opportunities for synergy and group classes and community by the nearby facilities collaborating. So something good could come out of it, it does seem to me. The second comment is that for a while now, I've been asking city planning to do a little more homework when they bring residential facilities to us. As Mr. Rulins just pointed out, the facility on Forest, we don't know what population it serves.
Correct.
The councilwoman is telling us about Pastor Neville's, but there is an opportunity, whether it's the planner or administrative people in planning, to bring more information to the table so that we can have that as we deliberate. And those are my 2 comments.
Okay, excellent.
and I would just second that. We hear a lot of cases regarding residential facilities, and I think the zoning is in place to ensure that we don't have group home districts.
Correct.
And it's hard for us to make that determination of whether we're creating a group home district by agreeing to variances if we don't have all the facts about what group homes exist in an area and what type of homes those or types of residents those facilities have. So I think that it would be great for the board if we could have more information when these cases arise so that we can be fully informed in our decision on those particular variances.
So we're not saturating, as you said, a group home district. So we're not saturating with certain populations. Ms. Wilson, do you have any comment?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Mrs.
ma'am.
Latham had a comment.
Yes.
It does not speak to the overall issue of oversaturating a specific district, but we do know that that one group home services one veteran male of the age of 60.
On Forest?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Yes.
All right.
We spoke on
Yeah.
the record.
I'm glad that you did. All right. So for purposes of just nailing down the facts about this facility, tell us again, you're going to do veterans?
Yes.
5,
With regard to transportation,
male,
yes,
ages,
50 and above.
50 plus, disabled,
Yes, that would be open to,
physical or mental or emotional.
or all three. so
Okay.
Multiple options.
Okay. Okay. Operating 24/7.
Correct, with full staffing.
Staffing, how many staff? First-
We're hoping for at least 2 each shift.
Okay,
But
so
it's
3
guaranteed,
shifts,
Yes,
3 shifts.
guaranteed 1 each shift, but looking for 2.
Okay. 1 staff per shift. They will be able to manage their own medications?
The
Or you're going to,
veterans will manage their own
Okay.
medications.
so residents will handle their own meds? You're supplying transportation?
Correct.
You have structured activities for them during the day?
Yes,
Will any of them be working?
that's the goal for all of them to be working.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so all working who are capable of doing so. Okay. All right, so,
I missed the hours of operation and days of the week, 24 hours.
yeah, 7 days.
What was that?
Staff parking on site in the driveway?
Yes.
All right, any other specifics you want to ask about, board?
No, I think we've covered bedrooms and things of
Yep.
that nature.
We've been through that.
already.
These are just the specifics, okay. Anything further to add, Mr. Rulons?
Nope.
Anything further to add, Ms. Scott?
I have nothing.
Okay. Anything further, Ms. Wilson?
Not at this time. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Okay. Board, what would you like to do? We have a request for postponement. We have, or would you like to move forward?
Well, if we postpone, it would be to allow the councilwoman to gather more facts on Mr. Neville's group home.
Correct.
So at this point, she has taken a neutral position on the matter.
Mm-hmm. At this point, we have one other facility on the map, correct?
But we have knowledge and information that there's likely another one,
Correct.
at least one.
Right. Correct.
That could be.
Yeah, but it's been over a year now, right, and it's still not there.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, the challenge that I'm having is just I just said, is that I don't think this board should render decisions about residential facilities when we don't know about all the residential facilities in an area.
okay.
It just gives me pause that, the zoning is there for a reason, to ensure that these facilities are properly spaced, and not all congregated in one area. And without knowing about all of them, and we only have the one on the map, I just don't, I mean, I personally, I know it's frustrating to have to come back here all the time. But I don't know that we have all the facts to render a decision that I'm comfortable with.
Ms. Brown, you have anything further to add?
No.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All due respect, can we please just move forward? I have a house that's sitting here waiting to be fully renovated, but I can't do anything.
I understand.
Yeah. In a minute, my pipes are gonna burst.
I
And that's
understand.
what my
I
fear.
just have a question. So, in regard to gathering information, are we seeking information that's going to clarify intention or that's going to clarify actual what's there now? When you say you're looking for information about,
Well, it is the councilwoman who's seeking more information.
okay.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
we're saying we are too.
And we are
Yeah,
too.
we are
So I
too.
think that's a very good, clear question. And I would say what's there now.
Now,
Yeah.
Because we have to speak to what's existing.
yes.
Right, and I also, it's unclear to me, I know the councilwoman said that, the pastor's facility doesn't need zoning, but I want to
Correct.
know, was it ever properly
Right.
zoned?
Right.
Is it operating, if it is to be operating as a group home, can it? I don't know that, sometimes we have people who are operating certain things on the
Correct.
properties that they think they're doing it in compliance with the law, but they might not be. And I'm not,
Correct.
impugning this pastor's
Yes.
character in any way. But we have, secondhand testimony from the councilwoman, but we don't know for sure if this property is,
Exactly.
I mean,
With the-
I-
he might
I
need a
can-
variance.
Right, I can bring some clarification.
Thank you.
Great.
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Go ahead.
Sure, on the Pastor Neville's property is zoned institution research. And so with that zoning, this use is allowed. I met with Pastor Neville and a large group of folks about, I want to say 9 months ago for, for their project to be introduced to the city. I do not know whether that has become activated for the use that they proposed. I do know that Pastor Neville's and I apologize, I don't remember her name, Latham?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Had conversations. There were some back and forth about how Pastor Neville's would utilize the property. And I believe initially the intent was to have a group home specifically for women. After Miss Latham and Pastor Neville's conversed, the idea was he would change his use to a group home for veterans. But again, I do not know that that has actually come into place. So with the meeting that I had with the councilwoman and Ms. Latham a few weeks ago, it was clear to me that she was focused on veterans housing. And one of the comments that I made to her or to them was that I thought that the location was great simply because there was a physical difference in the space and the spacing, just, I know that it's not 1,000 feet, but because MLK is a boulevard type of street and the distance from this group home on Forest and MLK was significantly close to access public transit, that it probably would not be problematic, that it would be beneficial to the residents. It would not be a hindrance to the residents in the area. And that is the way that I perceived what it was that they were doing. You have 5 individuals that would be housed in this space. There would not be an issue with parking, simply because transportation would be provided to these residents. And the need obviously is great. So that was the way that I kind of looked at things and the perspective that I had made my comments.
Can I ask Ms. Scott a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Ms. Scott, the facility that's zoned institutional use, how many residents would it be able to serve?
When I asked that question of Pastor Neville's, either last week or week before, he had stated 14, I believe.
Thank you.
That was my question as well.
Okay, so it has capacity for 14.
Yeah, it's not a house, it's a multifamily
Okay.
building on a church campus.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
It is
like an
a
apartment
different
building.
environment.
right.
It might have been a classroom building at some point.
probably, yeah.
Yes, okay. I think we have to decide on what we have. And, Kim, one more question, excuse me, Ms. Scott. Is there a house adjacent to the institutional building that is also being considered for services?
I believe so. And as I understand, and I did email and try to get clarification and in terms of what programs or services were going to be operating from the property, which is multiple buildings. So I don't know, I don't know if that helps or not.
Meaning
But-
you didn't get an answer?
I did not, I don't feel as though I got clarification.
Okay.
Actually gonna look back through my emails right now. But because there's the Wings one, there's Aspire.
I'm sorry, last question from me. I was sort of ready to go and then you made me less ready. Are any of those occupied currently?
Not to my knowledge.
Walks through them.
If they're,
He's shown us the properties.
they were, when was the last time you walked through?
Like, not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
They are not occupied.
they're still being
He's still,
renovated.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
There's like plumbing issues and everything.
Okay,
Then, Madam Chair, if they are not occupied, I am prepared to make a decision on what has been completed and ready to.
okay, excellent. Would
And
you-
I thank you, Ms. Scott, for that. That helps. At least now we know what that other property, how it's zoned,
Right,
that it's zoned, and can be used in the way that the pastor would like to use it. So that is very helpful testimony. So I appreciate that, Ms. Scott.
okay.
Okay.
Would you like to go ahead and make a motion then, Ms. Brown?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the Emergence Evolutions calendar number 23-149 to serve as a residential facility for a maximum of 5 occupants, serving veterans age 50 and above, provided it has the appropriate state certification, staffing, and operational plan as presented to the community and as presented to this board.
Could I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, I would second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson, for the second. Ms. Kukla, would you like to call the vote, please?
Sure. Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-149 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter. Please feel free to contact us on Wednesday or further.
Thank you all.
So, Madam Chair, I'd like to say that was difficult. You know, and I hope that we have better information the next time we have to look at one of these.
I would have to say that I think it's been invaluable today to have Ms. Scott's testimony. And we used to have the city planners for the area. No reflection on Mr. Bruins, who is our star person from city planning.
And
But-
retiring.
Yes, exactly. Pre-COVID, we used to have city planners present for almost all the cases. That's not been the case since then. And so, Ms. Scott, today, your input has been invaluable and really allowed us to move forward with this particular case. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And to you folks, we've seen you now several times. I feel like, like we know you, so good luck with your project.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you all.
Please do not disappoint.
yes, yeah,
Great service for the community and for the veterans.
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you know eyes are gonna be on you.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Take
Okay.
care.
Okay, thank you. All right. So do we still have Ward 15 with us? Okay. We do.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we'll move back to the top of the agenda, calendar number 23-182.
All right, reading in calendar number 23-182 at 5406 Stone Avenue. Douglas Bennett and Julie Beers propose to construct a single-family dwelling in a B1 two-family residential district. The owners appeal for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Brown is going to do the oath for us today.
Yes. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, right hand. Reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I do. Greg Scott, 1300 West 54th Street, Cleveland, 44102.
I do. Sandra Madison, 1215 Superior Avenue, Suite 110, Cleveland, 44114.
I do. Douglas Bennett, 1311 West 54th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102.
I do. Julie Beers, 1311 West 54th Street, Cleveland, Ohio.
Anyone online?
Well, yeah.
No,
Yes. Ah,
Hi, I work for Councilmember Spencer. I do. My name is Joe Nasser, Ward 15.
perfect. Thank you. Anyone else? And Joe, you're gonna have to speak up just a little louder. Madam Chair, all are sworn in and I need to recuse myself from this.
You do?
I do.
All right. Ms. Kukla, would you like to read the announcement for when we're down to 3 people, please?
It's the same as with 4 members. You run the risk of in this case, it wouldn't be a tie vote, it would just not be a unanimous vote. And so therefore you have the right to postpone it at this time.
Wish to proceed?
Yes.
All right. The appellants wish to proceed, so we'll move forward. Who's going to be the we need history of the property.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found in the 1918, a permit was issued to erect a storage building. 1937, a permit was issued to erect a private garage on this address. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Would you like to read the legal standard, please?
Sure. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum lot width, minimum lot area, and attached garage requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. All right, who's going to be the spokesperson?
That's me.
I think so, yeah, well, two of us can manage it, I think.
Okay, all right. We'll let you go first then.
Okay, the property was,
You want to tell us your role in the project?
sure, I am, the architect, even though my project manager is not here, he's taking vacation in China, so I'm sort of sitting in for him. But
All right.
thought he might be able to assume it, but he wasn't able to. Okay, so the property was actually, split, it was owned by the, owner to, I should say, to the east. Is that correct?
Yeah, Greg, yeah.
Oh, Greg,
Greg,
sorry.
yeah.
Hi, Greg.
You would be the owner to the east?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so it was split, so they could, have a house designed on that property. As you can see, it's not 36, it's not 40 foot wide, it's 36 foot wide. It does not have the, correct square footage that's required for, a home on this lot. But it's close, it has 4620 versus the 4,800 square feet that's required. You can see it's adjacent right there to the shoreway, it's to the north, the bikeway is there, beautiful views to the north, and it's right adjacent to HKM and the home of Leon. So on Stone Avenue, you can see this, it's sort of, it's not quite like a dead end, but it's really just a street which has just one house to the south of it. It's a brick street. So it's really limited in the number of residences currently in the area.
Where the two cars are parked, is that your home, Greg?
Yes.
Okay,
It's a small commercial building, so would work for me.
okay.
And as long as I'm speaking, I want to solidify the point you just made. Stone is a little bridge, barely a street. It's more like an alley that accesses one house. My house doesn't even really access Stone. There is a back door to HCAM, which is the large commercial property. And that's pretty much it. So it's kind of like a shared drive almost.
Okay.
And then there's, you can see the two houses to the east. I think a third one is being proposed. I think it was brought up weeks ago. So,
Actually, it was on this calendar a couple of weeks ago.
yes, it was.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I was gonna
Okay,
say.
go ahead.
Yeah, if you don't mind, so Julie and I actually just live right up the street currently in townhomes that are right on 54th Street. And we wanted to stay in the neighborhood. But as you know, there aren't a lot of available lots, so to speak. So we happened to be over our friend Greg's house and neighbor, and he mentioned that he's got this lot. He said, would you be interested? And we said, well, who knew? So that's how the conversation started. And we have obviously been trying to do our due diligence, finding the right architects. We've already talked to people to get the lot surveyed for environmental and everything to that effect. A lot of this is contingent upon what the board decides today.
So you're gonna do some core samples?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
absolutely.
Has it been professionally surveyed for the lot lines and all of that as yet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, just recently.
so that was done before you did the split?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right.
So I want to make sure I'm clear on the lot.
Sure.
Sorry, Madam Chair, if you don't
No,
mind.
go ahead, Ms. Roca.
Is this the existing building that's on the corner, or is it the lot in between?
In between
Okay, okay.
HKM and Greg's home.
So it's a pretty irregularly shaped lot.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So in looking at the site, we looked at the zoning, try to get all the setbacks where they should be as per the zoning. And which leaves, as you can see, it's a very narrow lot. So by the time we have our setbacks to the east and the west and to the south, it leaves a very small footprint that we can work with. So we designed the house to our client's request. I forget how many, is it 3 bedrooms?
Yes.
3 bedrooms,
Yes.
I'm sorry, son.
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
bedrooms. And they'd like to, have a space in the back where they can have a private area, where they can come home, decompress, relax. We all know how that is. And also where they can have some, entertainment, a nice place to entertain. So they have the garage straight on the front entry, and then heading, say, to the rear for entertainment and just having a patio. It's not a lot of space back there. They actually build on that if they put a garage back there. They've chosen a very nice garage door. It's a frosted pane glass door, so that
Okay.
it does look very nice from the street. It doesn't look, like just a regular garage door. So we're just to give it some ambiance for the street, not just have a garage with and we've also narrowed the drive. Right now, the curb cut is pretty wide. I don't know if you can see how it was actually very wide. We narrowed it down to 12, so it's one car in and out. So you don't have a very wide.
So is
drive.
it down to 12 feet or 9 feet?
It's down to
I think it's down to 12. I can't remember. off the top of
I
my
think
head.
it's
Okay.
12.
Well, okay.
And maybe, I don't know if Tim had, maybe 12 a second, maybe something like 12. Because I think before it was much,
There we go. Okay.
so it may be down to 12.
So you're gonna your plan is to stack the cars then in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a 3-car garage. Entry, passing inside. We also didn't want to have a long drive to the back. It's just, I
Right.
have one of those. It's not fun to go up and down. I'm up on the hill, similar to this one. So it's much nicer to, you can come in, just from, we have the Cleveland weather, which is always.
Yeah, well, it makes for a lot to plow or shovel.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Excuse me, Maurice, do we have elevations and?
So we have 3 materials right now. There's a stone base and also a accent that goes up. There's going to be, right now, we've chosen a wood nook panel and then also an ACM panel. We have not, we don't have the samples with us today, but those are the 3 materials that we usually, of course, in glass. They're,
Next page, is that?
next one. So this is a 3D view. We wanted to focus most of the, of course, the views to the north. So there's lots of glass on the north side. There is also, since most of the living spaces are 1 story up, we're able to see over top of our neighbors to get nice views out to the east. Right now, we don't have a lot of views to the west, but we're hoping that will maybe one day.
Well, we talked to the building owners of HCAM as well as Greg has. Eventually, they'll probably be coming to you because I know that they own it and they're thinking about redesigning and doing something different with HKM. So it eventually may come down, who knows? I think he's still waiting to see what kind of
Right.
property he wants to do with that.
Probably running some numbers on that.
Yes.
Okay, all
So-
right.
So we've put most of the living spaces and everything facing to the east and north, and put a lot of, utility type spaces to the west.
So all that glazing is your east and north elevation there in the back, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, anything else to add? All right, Joseph, would you like to make your comment?
Hi, yes. I'm gonna try to speak up if you can't hear me,
You're-
please just
You're good now, thank you.
excellent. Okay, so yeah, I work for Councilmember Jenny Spencer. She asked me to read this letter of support into the record on her behalf. So without further ado, Dear Secretary Kukla, I am writing to express my support for the requested zoning variances for this single-family home in Ward 15. Specifically the provision within section 33723A6A2, which states attached garage shall be located in the rear half of the lot. Mr. Bennett and Ms. Beers are longtime Ward 15 residents and are making a significant investment by building a new home in the neighborhood. I concur that for functionality of the site and the home, it is necessary for the proposed attached garage to be located within the front half of the lot and face the street, Stone Avenue. The reasons for my support are as follows. Stone Avenue is a short side street within a mixed residential, commercial, and industrial area that features a wide variety of architecture and character. A front-facing garage would in no way disrupt, impede, or have any negative impact upon the character of the neighborhood. Due to the dimensions of the lot, I do not believe it would not be viable to construct a driveway. Further, it is a higher and better use of the site to ensure that there is some private green space on the north end of the property in lieu of hard surface or driveway. Such a design ensures that this home will be a legacy investment benefiting generations to come. I am grateful for Mr. Bennett and Ms. Beers' ongoing commitment to the neighborhood and their desire to further invest in our community and build their forever home. And I ask that this letter be read into the record as an indication of my strong support for the project and its requested variances. Best regards, Councilmember Jenny Spencer.
Thank you. Ms. Kukla, did you receive a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay, so we also have a copy of that that was sent electronically in the file. Maurice, would you like to
Maurice
make
Rowland,
comment?
sure, Maurice Rowland, City Planning. So for variances 1 and 2, those are very standard residential type variances that we do in Cleveland because of the narrowness of almost all of the lots of record on the city of Cleveland. And of course, the size. So these are 2 standard ones that we recommend granting all the time. The garage is one that we don't like to grant a lot, but I think based on everything that has been said so far by the councilwoman and by the applicant, and the fact that when we do allow or recommend approval on front-loaded garages, we often ask for a frosted glass door, which they've even done that without us even asking, which is fantastic. So yeah, we recommend approval of this project. Also because of, I just want to get on the record too, the fact that Stone Avenue is like a stub. I mean, it really, I'm surprised it hasn't been vacated actually and,
Right.
treated as a common driveway or something. So there's really no impact from the front facing garage.
Exactly. And as to the garage door, you're correct, because that's usually something that I would tick off the box too. So thanks for doing that in advance of coming here. We appreciate that. So, okay. Any questions or comments, board?
I have a question, just would like some testimony on the record as to the pedestrian flow on that street, Stone Avenue. My assumption is, I actually was at Parkview last night for dinner, so I didn't have any, there were no pedestrians around.
No.
But my assumption is that you don't get a lot of foot traffic on Stone.
I can probably speak to them.
Okay.
That's the same thing. Very, very little. There's a tiny bit of traffic coming out of HKM's back door that goes to the street, probably going to Parkview. And there's an occasional delivery vehicle like Dawn or something or Amazon for the house across the street. But otherwise, it's like somebody's driveway, but there's nothing really going on very often.
Okay. Yeah, one of the concerns that I usually have with garages located in the area like this is just people pulling it out, in and out where people are walking. But I don't think that doesn't appear to be an issue here, given that the street is not used essentially other than for the couple businesses and then your house and then, you know, potentially yours. So I feel a lot more comfortable with knowing that pedestrians won't, you know, be put in a precarious situation with cars coming in and out.
Ms. Wilson, do you have anything?
Not at this time, Madam Chair. I'm all set. Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
So based
Madam
on,
Chair, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Priscilla, you want to take it?
No, you got it.
Okay. So based on the testimony that we have heard here today, I would move to approve this calendar item.
Okay, this is calendar number 23-182. We have a motion to approve. Did I
Madam-
have a second?
Yes, I'll second. Madam Chair, I second.
All right, Ms. Kukla, would you like to call the vote?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar 23-182 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
Thank you very
It's
much.
nice looking.
Good luck with
Yeah.
your house.
Nice looking.
And have beautiful views.
Yes, yes, we hope so. We have.
Come over after.
Yeah, we'll be probably doing drive-bys to check it
Yeah,
out.
I
so.
understand. Thank you.
Joseph, are you gonna also be here for calendar number 23-187?
I will not. This was the only one that the council member wanted me
Okay,
here. So I'm
that's
gonna
fine.
not.
That's fine.
Thank you all so much.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it. All right, so the representative for Councilwoman Spencer is not staying with us. So we'll move on to calendar number 23-183.
All right, we are moving to calendar number 23-183 at 775 East 185th Street. 775 East 185th Street LLC proposes to establish use as a bar tavern as an expansion to an adjoining brewer, there are some words missing here, to an adjoining brewery tavern in a C1 local retail business district and a pedestrian overlay district. The owner appeals for relief of the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Do we have, are you the appellant for this?
Ozimba Anyangwe.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, we're, Ms. Brown will swear you in.
I will speak if you need it.
Okay.
Well, I'll swear you both in. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and address, please.
I do. Leon Sampat, 22082 Lorraine Road, Fairview Park, Ohio.
I do. Ozimba Anyangwe, 775 East 185th Street, Cleveland 44119.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to spell your name for the court reporter, please.
So it's Ozimba, as in boy, A Adam, last name Anyangwe.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And Laura Balla, 4130 Rustic Road, Cleveland, 44135. I do.
Great. Okay, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2007, it was changed to local retail business and the pedestrian retail overlay was mapped on East 185th Street. In our records administration office, we found in 1929, permit was issued to erect a garage, and then in 1940, a permit was issued to erect a retail store addition. There are no variances on file, and we did see there was a violation notice issued in 2008 regarding erecting a neon sign without a permit. And that's all that we have. That's relevant. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great. Thank you so much. Who's going to be the spokesperson?
Leon Sampat.
Okay, Leon, you need to speak up just a little bit for us, please.
Okay, is that better?
That is better. Yes, thank you.
So Leon Sampat, LS Architects, 22082 Lorraine Road, representing the Two Friends Brewing. Mr. Ozimba and his partner purchased the property. It was the former Cleveland Brewery and the JF Optical. They are looking at taking both spaces at this point and turning it into the brewery. And part of that expansion or process for expansion is to provide handicap bathrooms. There was no sit-down bar at the former brewery tasting kind of area, so we're going to add that. So by doing that, the seating capacity is not greatly being increased, but it is, they are expanding into that space. I know the official notice stated that there was no parking provided. There are two spots that are available for parking on site. That is where what was considered a former garage. That is the brewery area, so it is not a garage. And that was part of what the Cleveland Brewery had set up already. They replaced equipment here now. So we are looking at basically an 8-car variance. As part of the proposed renovations, I saw a picture up of the lintels. We are doing new windows. We're doing that lintel structure is being replaced. We are looking at an awning, canvas awning, and new signage. Mr. Ozimba and his partner met with Councilman Polensek last Friday, and he expressed his support for the project. I believe there was a letter given. I'm not sure if you guys received that or not. It was stated that there might have been.
Ms. Kugler, did we receive that?
Yes. It's up on the
Okay, we do have that on file.
Okay, and if you go back to the site plan, the two parking stalls are located off of Arrowhead Avenue, right where it says existing concrete drive.
Are you able to
And
point
those
those
spaces
out,
be-
Maurice?
Correct, right there.
Right there.
And those
Okay.
spaces would be 10 by 20 each, which
All right.
is more than code requirement.
Right.
You can see them right
There is ample
below the
parking
thing.
on
There we
the
go.
street. Yep.
All right. What's the side street that runs perpendicular to that?
Arrowhead.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, do either of you other two have anything to add?
Sure.
I do not.
Was it with you?
Yeah, no,
I'm Laura
Laura,
Bella.
Laura, go
I
ahead.
am, thank you. I'm a consultant who works on East 185th Street since 2019, under contract with Community Development, funded by Councilman Polensek. I did throw together some images. You've seen most of them. They are in the midst of a renovation through the storefront renovation program.
I wondered if they were.
So it
Okay.
will not go to the design review committee for that reason. And They removed all the brick to expose both lintels and have hired Lewin and Associates and Midstate Restoration to come up with the plan to restore the structure.
Okay.
So they're investing over $100,000 in the exterior alone on the property. If you'll go, a couple details of the lintel, definitely needs some work. This has
Were
been
they steel?
unresolved for decades.
Were they steel?
Yeah.
And they were just corroded?
Yeah. And it's several problems. So
Okay.
they've been band-aided for years, and the Ozumba bought the building in January and has been an excellent steward, restoring it back to a sound foundation. If you'll continue, that is an idea of what the final result will be, still in the works. And next slide, this is probably the most pertinent, given it's a mid-century, build out, 1950s, 40s, 50s, et cetera. It was built out for cars. So every single commercial property you see on the screen here has off-street parking, except the two buildings circled in red, the Standard Restaurant and this building, the Future Brewery. So there's plenty of on-street parking. It can get crowded during peak hours, holidays, that kind of thing, but it really has not been an issue. It was formerly a brewery and they did have seating in there. I don't anticipate that this will be a problem at all.
So was this an auto showroom then back in the day? Is
It
that
was
what
an
it?
optical store.
It was an optical store. Because it does have a bit of an Art Deco feel to it with that entry.
So it's I don't remember the exact date, but mid-century modern.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of the buildings have that wonderful blonde brick.
Right. Is the plan for the, because there's a lot of glazing on that, is the plan for those to be functional to open, so you can do open air seating or?
Yes, in fact, they are in the process of collecting bids now to have foldable windows, perhaps in both storefronts. So
Okay.
it will really be spectacular once they're done.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything to add, sir?
Yes, just saying that, we are happy to be in this area here. We've been there for almost a year now too, since January, and we don't really see any issues with parking, even from the standard. So there's plenty of off-street parking. I personally counted myself on Sunday, and there's tons of spots on our side of the street and on the other side where the Holland barbecue is too. So there is plenty of off-street parking.
Okay. City planning?
Maurice Rollins, City Planning, as was already pointed out, they're in the storefront renovation program, so there's no design review needed for this project. And I have to agree with everything that's been said about the parking. I don't believe there's any real parking issues in this area. There's a wealth of parking lots in the area. I think that serves most of the businesses. So I don't think there is a lot of on-street parking being taken up by a lot of those businesses. So with the councilman's support, I would recommend approval of this project. I have to say, this is a great project. I'm very partial to these older blonde brick buildings. I don't know why, I just think they're fantastic. And to see one like this brought back to life, and in the great hands of the storefront renovation project, Tim Barrett does an amazing job with that. So this is a really good project.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Great looking building. The rendering of the front elevation with all that glazing looks wonderful. So,
Classic Tim Barrett.
yeah.
With the projecting sign especially.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay. And we didn't read the councilman's letter, but he's in full support.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, actually, I did have one. The
Okay.
2 parking spots that are available, are those gonna be for staff members?
I think that would be the more appropriate use.
Okay, so not customer use, but so all guests of the brewery will be parking on the street?
Yes.
Okay.
I anticipate since they're gonna be serving alcohol, that there might be some rideshare use involved too, so. And, I'm not sure about the public transit on East 185th.
Buses.
Is it a,
There's a lot of pedestrian traffic in the neighborhood, lots of people walk to.
okay,
to these.
Is this part of 185th going through the transformation
Yes,
the
the
street project?
we're just wrapping up 2 years of construction.
okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of cones for a
Yeah.
long time.
But is there fixed route service on 185th RTA?
Yes,
Okay.
there are a number of bus lines.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. All right, a motion, anyone?
Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 23-183.
Second, please.
Madam Chair, Member Brown, I second.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote?
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Page.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-183 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter. Please feel free to contact our office for further instructions on Wednesday of next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good project.
Good luck
Thank
to you. It looks like a great project.
It's a beautiful
Thank
building.
you so much. Thanks a lot.
We'll
Have
be
a good day.
anxious to see it come to fruition.
Oh, yes, yes. It will definitely let you guys know. Come on down.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Moving on to calendar number 23-187.
Thank you for waiting.
Yes.
Enjoyed it.
It's interesting, isn't it?
People think the Board of Zoning Appeals is boring. I venture to say the opposite.
Yeah.
That huge house being built down the street from us, that's our path. Me and my puppy walks past there all the time.
Oh, do you? Yeah?
So it was nice to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can keep tabs on it now as you walk the
Yeah, we
dog,
want to
right?
walk down and they can congratulate them too.
Okay, let's roll along then.
All right, we're moving on to calendar number 23-187 at 1793 West 54th Street. Monique McGee proposes to construct a 24 by 24 two-story wood frame garage with a second floor recreation room in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you. Would you like to do the oath, Ms. Brown?
Yes. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If you do so, please raise your hand, state your name, say I do, name and address, say I do.
Dequan Burrell Smith, 1793 West 54th Street. I do.
Monique McGee, 1793 West 54th Street. I do. I think it's backwards.
Thank you. Do we have anyone online for this case? All right, appears not. History of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we only found that in 1916, a permit was issued to repair fire damage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in more recent history.
Okay, legal standard?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the accessory building requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, who's going to be the spokesperson? Are you?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll let my husband.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell us
So-
what you want to do.
So we're a limited space, as you can tell, it's a very, very old house. And our family have grown over the last couple of decades. So we don't have much storage space. Our planner that designed it, he put rec room on there, but it's not necessarily rec room, we need storage. Yes, because our basement is still like partially crawl space. So once we get past 15 by 15 in our basement, it's like this small. And so we need places to store Christmas trees, yard equipment and stuff. And then we have two grandkids that are newly added to our family, so we wanted to use as much of the space that was there. I had an old barn garage that was there years ago. We took it down, and it was almost the exact same size as this. It had the huge doors. It was almost the exact same size.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to, it was dilapidating, and someone allowed me to take it down. And our neighbor that lived right in back of us passed away a few years ago. He agreed that all of us agreed that it needed to come down because part of it had fell into his yard. So we haven't had a garage in a very, very long time. And so now we've been blessed to be able to do so. And we found a builder that would take my design. I actually drew the garage myself. And I apologize to the board that it's a few feet larger than it's supposed to be, I believe. I think that's what the reason for the denial was.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, but the slab is that size.
So are you using the existing
Yes.
slab that's there?
The slab is that size. It's
Okay.
24 by 24.
So the footprint exists. I mean, you're not gonna re-pour, you're just using the old one?
He's going to he's going to take out the old slab, but the size, the 24 by 24.
Okay,
Is the exact same size.
okay, so you're gonna pour new slab, but it's gonna be the basic same footprint.
Correct.
Okay, so the question is, you say the upstairs is gonna be used for storage.
Yeah.
I see that you've got a little balcony on it, is that right?
It is a balcony. I want to say something to that. As the neighborhood or the neighborhood now coming into a community changes, I noticed there's a lot of houses as well as garage have rooftops now where people can go and sit on rooftops. So we can't do that at our house. So I figured a balcony will be sufficient on the garage to substitute as a rooftop.
Because I was going to have the first large garage doors extend all the way up. I have a huge truck, but I had to incorporate my wife.
That was a very smart thing to do. It's important.
Thank you. I enjoyed that one.
The added money, you guys, the added cost to the build also. But
And I just thought it would be nice to set up a raise when you see fireworks at Edgewater. And even
Do you have a view to Edgewater?
Yeah, we're not that far from Edgewater.
you can stand in my backyard and actually see all the downtown
Yeah.
when they're shooting fireworks. We don't necessarily.
Okay,
need-
party at your house then. All right, so, so there's stairs going up to the second floor, right?
Yes.
Are you heating the second floor?
If we do, we didn't plan for that in the wintertime or heat or anything like that.
Okay, and no plumbing up there, so no bathroom, nothing like that, no sink? Okay,
Just electricity.
just electricity, yeah, you'll need that. Okay, all right. I'm a little distracted and worried about
I
this
know.
guy that's outside the window. We're on the 5th floor, so that's the roof. So sorry if I keep picking him up in my peripheral vision. I'm
As
like,
long as you watch my back.
yeah. Maurice, do you want to comment on this?
Maurice Rollins, City Planning. Just out of curiosity, you have tenants in the house as well upstairs?
Yes.
Upstairs, okay. But I ran into one of them when I was out taking the pictures. It's a two-family house then?
It is now, yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I thought maybe it was gonna be an accessory dwelling unit because of the porch on the front, but there's no call for any bathroom or, any kind of facilities that would lead me to think that they were gonna do that. And now they're saying it's just gonna be for storage, which is fine, so we haven't heard any objections from any of the neighbors for the garage being too large or too tall, so we would recommend approval.
Okay, great. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
Madam Chair, having heard the testimony and the consideration for the wife, I move approval of calendar 23-187.
Could I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, I would second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Ms. Kukla, would you like to call the vote?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Bay?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-187 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter but contact our office on Wednesday for further instructions.
Appreciate it.
If you're ready.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
How long have you been married?
Since 2010. So we've been together since 2006.
Okay,
13 years.
all right.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, that's
Got some
good.
Great
That's
kids
good.
together, a whole bunch of them.
That's good.
Sure, you guys have a blessed day.
You too.
Take care.
Okay. On to 23-188.
All right, moving on to calendar number 23-188 at 4200 Bailey Avenue. Orchard STEM School proposes to install a wall sign with an electronic message center in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Do we have an appellant here for this case?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. We'll move on to the open.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name and your address, please.
Chris Camerari, 5614 Ford Road, Madison, Ohio, 44057.
Thank you, Chris.
Could you spell your last name, Chris, please?
Yeah, it's Camereri.
Great, thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find any records in our records administration office. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a variance to allow a wall sign with an electronic message center to display information pertinent to a community facility use on the premises. To obtain the variance, the board must determine, number one, that the sign will provide community information. Number two, that the sign will not adversely affect the character of nearby residential properties. Number three, that the sign is for a community facility use. Number four, that the information displayed on the sign shall be limited to information that pertains to the community facility. Number five, that each display of information shall remain static or fixed for a minimum of 20 seconds. And six, that the sign shall be either a wall sign or a freestanding sign with a maximum area of 30 square feet. Alternatively, the board may approve a sign that varies from the above requirements if it determines that the sign will meet a community need without adversely impacting the character of nearby residential properties.
Great, thank you. Chris, do you want to tell us what you, give us more information about the sign,
Absolutely.
what you intend to do with it?
So the school told me, or I'm sorry, what my customer told me as that Golden Rule Signs said that they're just going to display like daily events for, you know, like what sports are going on today, or if there's this what a game or something, whatever's going on, I guess, at the school on that day. So 3x3 of the sign is just going to be an illuminated sign just saying Orchard STEM Schools, which is on the screen now. And then 3x6 of it is going to be the message center. So it's not the entire area. So, I mean, it'll be, I guess, dimmer in that aspect. But also, I proposed to my customer about putting it on a timer. So at the end, you know, it's say whatever dawn and dusk would be at the time, the sign would go off to not disturb any of the neighborhood with, you know, flashing lights and all sorts of display that doesn't need to be up in the middle of the night. So it would essentially just come on basically when school starts and then go off at the end of the school day.
So does the message part of the sign scroll? Is that what it does? Or is it just more like a flash?
It'll scroll. I mean, it could just, you know, they can either have it pop up whatever picture, kind of like, I don't know if you could see the screen now where it says like the day sports, it could flash that for like, I think you guys said 20 seconds. And then it'll go to the next, whatever the next display would be for the day. You know, if they have 10 events going on that day, they can have it, you know, go show all 10 within whatever minute period. Or else they could have it scroll, which it wouldn't be so much of a flashiness, you know, it'd kind of just be a nice gradual going to the next agenda, I guess.
These have become rather popular with churches. I think this is the
Exactly.
first one that we've seen on a school, so.
Well, yeah, and that it is within, you know, within the area. I know there's, because I actually drove past here also, and there's, you know, there's a lot of housing around there, but that's why I thought the being on either a timer or a photo cell, it would benefit everybody better because it would go off, you know, when it becomes dark, so it wouldn't be interfering with anybody.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and that would be a condition of our motion, should we choose to approve this. Okay, any questions or comments, board?
I have nothing, no.
Okay.
So I have a question about the illumination of the sign. How bright is it?
Right, the brightness of it?
Of the, it's not noticeably, the sign itself, the 3x3 sign will not be noticeably bright during the day. At nighttime, I'm trying to guess.
Does it have a maximum lumens measurement, or?
I don't have that. It's gonna be dimmed down because of the face with all the colors, but I mean, it's gonna have like 7100 Kelvin LEDs in it, which really, I mean, it depends on how many you put in it, but lumens, I don't have an answer on that. I don't.
Okay.
But again, I can have that can turn off also. I can have this entire, you know, the entire sign could shut off at night where it wouldn't be an issue with the illumination as it being too bright.
Yeah, and that's the reason I was asking. I mean, it looks like where the sign is proposed is directly opposite of, you know, residential homes.
Exactly.
And what we want to make sure we're limiting any sign or light pollution into those houses. So you said or testified that the sign would go off when school was over. What time is that?
Yes.
Well, he
I
proposed
think,
dawn to dusk.
I mean, yeah, if we do dawn to dusk, you know, that way, I mean, cause I mean, right now you're talking 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I mean, in the summertime, it'd be 9 o'clock, but we can also, you know, I can tell them, hey, the sign has to be off by 7 o'clock.
We
And
could do
so that
dawn to
way it
dusk
won't.
or 7 to 7.
Well, just because that changes based on the time of the year. I'd rather do
Yeah.
a
Right.
actual time.
Okay.
Because
Right.
right now, if it goes to 7, I mean, that's late.
Right.
It's dark at 5.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. That's, I mean, if that dawn and dusk, I mean, in the summertime, it's 9:30 at night by the time it gets dark, and I don't want, you know, that'd be annoying over across the street from my house.
yeah, and that's what I'm thinking of is I don't know if you've heard from any of the neighbors or they even know if this is happening, but we'd like to not create a hazard in their homes based on
Right.
light from the sign coming through their windows and whatnot.
I mean, if we tell them, hey, 7 is the latest it can be on, I feel like that wouldn't be too unacceptable. But again, that's just my recommendation.
So 7 to 7.
I think 7 to 7. You good with 7 to 7? Okay. All right, any other questions, city planning, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Virtual City Planning. You know, my thought process was pretty much along the lines of what you're going through right now, especially being out there. You know, Bailey is a very narrow street. It's not particularly wide. So, you know, obviously it's going to have an impact on the people across the street. I guess my question to the applicant was, did you recommend, or did anybody ever mention anything about maybe doing a monument sign on West 41st Street instead of on the side of the building that's facing Bailey? It just seems like that makes more sense from a point of not interfering with, illumination, bothering the neighbors, but also getting the message out that they're trying to portray on a more busy street than Bailey.
Yeah, I did propose it, and they didn't want, it was just essentially just more money, running power all the way out there between the foundation. You have to do like the pole, the skirt, and everything of the sign to make it visually appeasing out there. And this was a lesser cost option.
Okay, I completely understand that. I figured that was probably what it was. They have
I think it was almost $9,000 more.
Yeah,
I think being out there.
Okay, I just wanted to ask the question just in case. I have those same concerns. If you address it like you're talking about with, making sure that it's off by 7 o'clock, I think that would be fine then.
Yeah, I had the same thought too, but you're right. I mean, look at that setback. I mean,
it's begging for a monument sign right
It
there.
is.
In my mind, that's exactly.
There's also a playground right there. That's where the kids play, and so maybe they had that.
Oh, maybe.
had that in mind. Is that, do you know, is that Bailey? Is that like the student drop-off place or something?
Yeah,
it's
it's where the parking lot. I think the parking lot can be entered right there.
Okay, so it makes sense from that standpoint to be there.
Right. It's
Okay.
that is the main entrance.
Okay.
And then to the appellant, if the school does receive complaints about light pollution from the sign, from the neighbors, would it be willing to work on that time frame to accommodate? any
Yeah, I'll put
concern?
that. I can put that like just contingency in there saying, hey, if there is any objections to this, or any complaints in the future, then we have to accommodate them.
And so to that, follow up to that question, so the timing can be changed. It's not like set in stone. Once you designate 7 to 7, you can designate something else in the future if you need to.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can change it daily if need be, but that would be annoying, but yes, we could do whatever needed to be done.
Okay, and then with respect to the content, you testified that, it's going to be about school sports activities and things of that nature. Just make sure that you're complying with the legal standard there, that all the information on the signage relates to the school, it has a community purpose, etc.
Absolutely. That's what I was told that is going to be on there. The only content is going to be basically like just school stuff, like school information. I'm sorry.
School activities, events, things
Yeah,
that are
right.
things that relate to, the community in general, should they have some sort of like holiday event or something.
Right. Or
Mr.
even
Rowland's had a question.
Yeah, just one other thing. Weekends did you say Monday through Friday, or did you include weekends?
Excellent question.
Is school and
Chris, is it
all on the weekends or?
Chris, is it
I would-
7 days or Monday through Friday?
I didn't ask that question. I could find that out, but I would assume it's just during the school week. On the weekend, you're not going to get any views on it, so it doesn't really matter, but I could ask that question.
Well,
we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we need to make a ruling on that now. So,
We'll just tell them during the week, during a school week, it's going to be on 7 to 7.
okay,
So Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 7. Okay, and just one other thing, Chris, you're acting on behalf of your clients. Did they give you a letter authorizing you to act on their behalf?
I got one from the Jesus. Yes. I have a work order from Golden Rule Signs to go on their behalf
Okay.
to
Do we
get
have a copy of
to
that?
do all the permitting.
Okay,
Pardon me?
all right. That needs to be submitted to our secretary and we'll need that before we ratify you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, anything else, board? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve calendar number, based on testimony today, that we approve calendar number 23-188 at 4200 Bailey Avenue, on the condition that the illuminated sign will remain on an automatic timer and will only be illuminated Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The sign displays will only be illuminated for 20 seconds at a time, and that the appellant will comply with all other requirements of the legal standard as it relates to signs, as stated today by the city's attorney. Thank you.
Can I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Right. Thank you. Ms. Kukla, would you like to call the roll?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-188 is granted. It'll be ratified once we receive that contract, giving you authorization to act on behalf of the appellant. After that date, we will ratify the following Monday and send you a letter. Please contact our office if you have any questions. Thank you.
And the condition is that it operates 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yes, thank you. It's granted conditionally, as those conditions were stated in the motion. Thank you.
Great, okay. All right, so there you go, Chris. Just get that information into Ms. Kukla, the letter.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you
you.
very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, calendar number 23-163. Do we have any appellants for that case with us?
Yes, I'm here. I'm one of the partners, Rachel Yoakley.
Okay, great. All right.
All right, moving on to calendar number 23-163 at 966 East 146th Street, 955 and 966 Retirement Homes LLC proposes to establish use as a senior care adult group home in a D1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Brown, you want to do the oath?
Yes. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If you do so, please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address. You're on mute, ma'am. Ms. Yoakley, you're on mute.
That better?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Thank you. So Rachel Yoakley, Rachelyokley, 1740 Pierce Circle, Salem, Ohio, 44460. And yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Next person?
Shimon Rubin. SHIMON RUBIN. And I'm the owner. And I live in 1409 Wellington Avenue, Lakewood, New Jersey, Towns River, New Jersey, 1108.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Ms. Kukla, history of the property?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned multifamily in 1926. In 1961, it was changed to two-family residential. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1961, a permit was issued to construct a two-story rectory at this address. There are several variances on file, for this address. In calendar 90-381, this board granted a variance to split and consolidate, parcels. And there's a note here that said that the variance allowed for them to split off the convent and rectory. In calendar 94-245, and Madam Chair, I would state that that variance that I mentioned was issued in 1990. This one was issued in 1994. In calendar 94-245, the board granted a variance for a 16-bed residential care facility for the elderly in the rectory. In calendar 95-57, and that was in 1995, this board denied a request to establish a daycare center in the basement of the property. And then in calendar 02-151 in 2002, this board granted a variance to establish use as a daycare on the first and second floor. Senior citizens were also to occupy portions of the first and second floor as well. And I'm sure there's nothing of note in the more recent history. Oh, I apologize. In 2011, a permit was issued to expand the daycare. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So in 2002, it was a variance was granted to establish daycare in the first and second floor.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, there's also a mention of senior citizens to occupy portions of that first and second floors.
So they split the use. Okay. All right, thank you. History or legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson?
I am Rachel Yoakley.
And what's your relationship to the project, Ms. Yoakley?
I'm one of the partners. We have 4.
Okay. Great. All right. Can you tell us what you're going to do and speak to the variance that you seek?
We just want to do just a class 2 group home. We would like to have the daycare completely removed. We have other homes and we do geriatric. So we don't feel that geriatric and children daycare go good together. So it's only going to be a 16-bed group home, no daycare. The daycare is currently moved out. When we bought it in May, they moved out in June. So we're just looking for the class 2 group home like it was. We just don't need the extra daycare upon it at all for zoning.
Okay, so 16 bed. And so tell us a little bit about the population that you're going to house.
We do all geriatrics, so we do anything for 55 and older. We also do non-ambulatory, ambulatory walker, wheelchair. We specialize in Alzheimer's, mental health issues for geriatric. We are working with a place for mom and also McGregor Pace, and they've been filling us with the geriatric population. We currently have 13.
And you mentioned you had other facilities, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. We have the other facility there in Cleveland behind this one. So there's two separate. We also have one on the west side. And we also have one that we're closing on in Pittsburgh and one we're currently have in Lisbon, Ohio. We've been running group homes, assisted livings, majorly focusing on geriatrics for 25 years.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, where's the one on the west side?
Let me have Simon. Simon, can you give her the address to that one? I'm not familiar with Cleveland too much. Hold on.
Yes, how are you?
Good.
So it's in 11510 Madison Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
She mentioned the building behind this. So can you ask if that's the one that's occupied or the one ours, Mr. 13 is?
Right. So, Miss Yokely, Miss Brown, we were just discussing, you mentioned that there was a building behind this one. Is that already up and operational and occupied, or the 13?
Yes, yes.
Go
When
ahead.
we bought the two buildings, as a package deal. They were both up and running as group homes for about 20 years. So the first one in the front building has already been zoned and licensed just for group home 16 class 2. So the license for that and certification already went through the state. The only reason why we put on hold on the second building for the certification on state is due to the fact that we do not want to do daycare. So the state recommended us to come to you and rezone it just for group home, and then they would certify us. But both of these buildings are occupied and been occupied for almost 20 years.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
They did.
Okay. Board, do you have any other questions?
So the one variance they need because they're close to another facility is because that's the facility they own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Just wanted to make
Correct.
sure. All right.
They created their own hardship.
Right. They created their, yes.
I have questions.
Yes, go ahead.
As you bought this in May of this year and they're both occupied, do you have a plan for improvements to these facilities? And can you talk more about your operations and staffing and local management?
Yes, absolutely. Since we bought it in May, we put $150,000 in the insides of both buildings. We're currently expected to spend about another $250,000 to inside and outside the buildings. Every single room has got brand new furniture now, brand new furniture on the inside. We spent about $50,000 on new flooring. We're now getting that put in. The goal is to make these communities for our elderly that they can be proud of living in. So we're going to be doing that with a community garden and all kinds of other things with that. We also have an administrator. She lives about 1.5 miles from the facility. We hired her in June and trained her. We have a manager underneath her that lives within 15 minutes of the building. And I have 2 staff on each shift. So my administrator is in charge of obviously running the facility, making sure everything's good. She's renting the rooms, and our manager is in charge of scheduling, making sure things are kept clean, things are orderly, and the residents are taken care of.
So you're running 2 staff members on each shift and you have 3 shifts per day?
3 shifts per day. It's 24-hour service.
Okay, so your ratio is 2 people to 16?
Yes. The one girl, one girl works in the back, mostly doing our showers, prepping our rooms, getting things detailed out. The other one's in charge of like the cooking and being the hospitality part of it. So it works relatively well together.
Okay. Madam Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Roca.
Do all the residents have their own room and bathroom?
The majority do. When we bought it, the majority were private rooms with a private bathroom. So we're gutting bathrooms out and redoing those. Some of them, she had about 2 bedrooms that were semi-private, which are twin beds in those. The other building is mostly all private. So we only have, I think, out of the ratio of the 30 altogether, we only have like 2 that are shared with no bathroom, but it has an extended bathroom on the outside of those rooms and the hallway access.
So with respect to the building that is before us today, because there's only one building for
Yes.
us today, can you just clarify, is that the building where you have 2 rooms with shared bathroom and shared?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And that bath is in the hallway, or is it like a suite that both rooms share?
No, it's like it's a suite that both rooms share, but you can also get it through their bedrooms because each one of the rooms open up to that bathroom.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Kind of college dormy.
Kind of, right. And we only access, because I don't like to do, the partners don't like to do shared rooms just because,
Right.
you know what I mean? We like to do private. So the goal is, as we move forward in the next year or so, to remodel those a little bit differently and lay out a little bit differently, because we have a few closets that we can use as hallways, and then do all private. But that's going to take about 1.5 years.
Right. Okay.
Right. That's the goal.
Okay. So staff are going to be dispensing meds and all of that?
They assist with medications. By state, they take a medication training, which is about 3.5 hours. They get certified to do that. Well, there's no nurses, so we don't administer. So we're
Okay.
only allowed to assist. So everything's locked up and done. They bring out their packets. They give that to them. The resident opens it up, takes their medication, and we sign off. If there's any issue with that, if the resident decides not to, then we're calling the family member and the doctor and getting them online right away.
Okay. So they need to be transported then for any kind of medical care?
Yes, we do. McGregor Pace has been really wonderful. Most of the people in there are McGregor Pace, so they provide most of the transportation to the daycares and to other things that they need to be done. We are going to be purchasing a van. So some of ours that are under visiting physicians and want to go do things so we can go out to the movies and stuff. And that's something that I want to do for them so they can get out of the facility just for recreation.
Okay, great. Ms. Cooper, did we have any correspondence pertaining to this case?
No, not that I'm aware of. Maurice, do you have any?
Nothing from the councilman?
No, I was actually going to ask Madam Chair, the applicant, if they've had any discussions with the councilman, because he did postpone this
Right,
to get more information.
exactly. So Ms. Yockley, this case, and we noted when we read this in, I think, this case was postponed at the request of the councilman to allow for further review. Did you have an opportunity to meet with Councilman Hairston?
No, the only thing that we heard through the zoning permit was that they wanted to send letters out and post a sign that basically gave our neighbors dual amp time to say yay or nay on it. We did talk to a few of our neighbors, probably about a handful. They were just kind of inquisitive because they didn't understand it was already a group home, right? So they didn't understand why we had to do new zoning. So I did explain to them that was just to remove the daycare, that nothing else was really going to change, that the buildings weren't going to be moved or added on to. And so they understood that. So they were like, we haven't really heard anything over there. There's been no problem. So they were just more curious about what was going to happen.
Okay.
They didn't quite understand why we had to rezone it. You know what I mean? Because it's already been there. And I explained that to them.
Right, okay. Okay, any questions with regard to that?
Not with regard to that, but with regard to the neighbors, I see there's a building, a large building next door to the, if you're facing your property, to the left of your property. Is that a school? What is that?
Yep, that's a private school.
Private school. And they're separated by a fence, so your property is not connected, because it's hard to tell.
Yes, it's separated from a fence. We have fencing all around our property. And we basically, like, you would maybe share part of the driveway to come through, but they have their own parking lot and we have our own parking lot.
Okay.
That's all
Great.
separate.
Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
All right, city planning?
Maurice Rollins, City Planning. The only question that I had was, about the councilman's input.
Yeah.
Without that, I would say that this has been a group home for many, 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 many years. It was probably purpose-built for this type of use. So I have no objections whatsoever and would recommend approval on this project.
Yeah, I think, given the fact that it was functioning as a group home, and it's a different sort of scenario than the group homes we typically get in residential areas, so.
And I might
That
also-
may have been the councilman's, point of contention.
I might also point out that we don't have the other building listed, and I don't know if that's because under the previous ownership, maybe they were both listed as this Famico BB Retirement Center. So I never had that other property on the system, was not showing that there was another
Okay.
group home right next door. So I couldn't tell you if that was the reason why, because it was same ownership.
Was it Famicos or Famico?
Well, That's
I
right
mean,
there from
Is
the,
it something maybe the CDC owned? Ms. Yochley, who was the previous owner? Was it Famicos?
Yes, Fermico, bye-bye. And it was Mrs. Burns, Fidelia Burns. And she
Okay.
owned both buildings, right? She owned both buildings, so that might be why you don't see a separate one. But it does have a separate license for state that's already been issued to us.
Okay,
because they actually were not written up. If you read the adjudication, they were not written up for having a neighboring
no, they were not.
place.
Oh, I thought they,
No.
But maybe it's non-institutional, not one of these group homes.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
It's fine. I just, and maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, but.
Ms. Yochley, we're just having a discussion because technically these are two buildings, so two different group homes. But your other building is not coming up in the system as a group home.
I think I know why. Back about I would say 8 years ago, the state used to do it where you could have 3, 4, 5, 6
You're
property.
breaking up on us, Ms. Yochley.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
5 or 6 years ago, the state of Ohio, ODMAS, decided that instead of having group homes that remained on the same property, because at one time you could have 2 or 3 homes on one set property, and that would be all initially one group home. They would just put down this group home has 16, this group home has 12. And then about 5 years ago, they came down and said, no, you can't do that anymore. They have to be on separate units, not combined together as buildings. Like you can't have a hallway from one building to another. And that came down from state about 5 years ago. So I'm thinking that Mrs. Burns probably had this all initiated before the 5 years, which was grandfather claused in and left. And now that when we come in, everything has to be separate. So that might be why you don't see the zoning on the second. It just probably all in one hit.
Okay.
And it just says 16 in one, 16 in another. But what happened was a long time ago, people were buying buildings and just putting hallways in between them, basically, and having, a 16 bed, but eventually it ended up to be 80 bed.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So that's probably what happened. And now the state wants you to make sure they're separate, which ours are. They're completely separate. They're not connected in any way.
Okay, great. All right, any other questions, board? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Wilson, you want to craft the motion on this one?
Sure, Madam Chair. I would, based on the testimony that we've heard in 23-149, I would move to approve this variance.
Could I have a second?
Enter Board Member Roca, I second.
Okay. I think we're good on that. We don't need any friendly amendments on that motion. We're good. So, Ms. Kukla, if you want to call the vote?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and this is regarding calendar 23-163 at 966 East 146th Street. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-163 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we can send you a letter. Please feel free to contact our office on Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You
Thank
as
you
well.
both.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
All right, old business board, we have calendar number 2 and calendar number 3 without objection.
Without objection.
No objection.
Thank you. Okay, and no other items of business, Ms. Kukla?
Nope, no miscellaneous
Okay.
issues or anything.
All right, so we next meet on November 20th. Is everyone going to be present?
Yes.
No, I will not.
The week of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I actually think I'm gonna be traveling that hour and probably won't be able to
Can't-
dial.
no
in.
access.
But I will confirm that and send an email today.
Okay, great.
I don't know my travel.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, are you present on the 20th?
I'll be here. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay.
I'm
So,
around. I don't leave until Wednesday, so I'm good.
all right. Exciting for you.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we are adjourned.
Okay, I have one more question. Will you tell the councilwoman we approved it? Somebody needs to tell her we
Right.
approved it.